Oh, I'm going to say the word empowerment. It is an empowerment. It is having that.
So I started. What did I start with? I think I had the main riff to the verse first. I think that was an old riff that was floating around for quite a long time, and then the machine heady kind of chorusy riff kind of came out of nowhere.
Not a Machine Head song.
It was originally called Not a Machine Head song because it's got natural harmonics in it. Yeah, and then after that, I wanted to kind of show the other side of us because we'd all done like really heavy stuff up until that point. So I was like, I want something a bit atmospheric. So I came up with that kind of leady line that plays in the song, and then figured out what I was playing and added some chords in below it, and just wanted the kind of swell through that section. So none of it was particularly like clear and in the foreground, but it was all kind of melded in the background, so there was plenty of space for the spacey vocals.
Oh, space! Oh yeah,
Spacey
that's
vocals.
what I did.
The end riff just kind of came out of nowhere. We knew we needed something else to kind of bring the song to the next level. So yeah, that kind of classic-y...
That's like fast bit.
Yeah, kind of inspired from 2005's kind of melodic metal and metalcore bands at the time, and I was like, yeah, and we always really enjoyed writing and playing that when we were demoing it, so happy that kind of evolved and kept in the song. So yeah, that's my favourite part of the song, and then the chuggy bits at the end.
I love that. That's my favourite part of the song. Favourite part of the song is when all the chuggy guitars happen. Not any of the lovely vocals, apparently. No, they're completely non-existent. Do you mind? No, but like, because Ryan kept that in, but he sort of changed. So Ryan is the guy who's producing for us. He kind of changed a bit of the ending as well, just to make it a bit cleaner and a bit have an actual clear ending to it. Because I think there's sometimes a tendency to go, and we fade out. And of course, when you're on stage, you're not going to be able to fade out because you can't exactly like fade a band.
No, we had a habit of like cutting songs like really short and being like, "Done, we're finished."
Next.
It's like, yeah. It's always good to go back and re-look at songs. I think this is the first time in our musical history, anyway, that we've really taken the time to be like, we think we've done, like, we think we're finished, we think we're ready.
We so were not ready.
Wait.
It was like 8 months ago, and we got Ryan in, and it was like, oh no, we're not ready. Okay.
Just to get an outside perspective and be like, what do you think about this? What could we do better? What have we missed? And it turns out,
we missed a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's fine, and not enough people do that. I wish I'd done it sooner. You know, it's fine to get feedback from someone and take their ideas on board as well, and that's not so invested in the song, hasn't necessarily got that history with it. And no, I wrote this riff. You're not changing this.
You get major ear blindness as well when you're like listening to songs over and over again, and you're like, actually, this sounds really good because we're really biased, and then someone comes in and goes, it's okay, but it could be better. Yeah. And that's kind of what Ryan did. He made it all sound a lot shinier because he's not like, as you say, he's not subjective. He's quite objective about what we're doing because he's not got to play it on stage in front of people. Well, it's really weird actually because normally a lot of the songs I write, I don't make, I sort of base them on, I don't know, books I'm reading at the time or like stuff I've seen or like weird like influences. I always say to the band, give me a theme. When you're writing this, give me a theme. And there wasn't really a theme for this other than can you do some spacey vocals? And I thought this kind of gave me a little bit more of an emotional approach. Not a lot of the songs are...
We had the name first, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Kind of... I think that was the initial idea of the spacey guitars.
Yeah, because it was like very dreamy and floaty.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what started us off. That was the starting point and the theme for the song, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so the whole song kind of focuses on a situation where you're in a relationship or you're in a situation where you're being controlled by somebody and eventually you realise it, and it doesn't matter how much you want to stay with that person, you kind of have to go. And then eventually once you have gone and you have broken away from that situation, it's kind of a retrospective of, oh God, I was such an idiot, and how angry it makes you that you've kind of, you know, like, you've burned my identity, you'll take the blame, because the other person always refuses to take any sort of blame for a situation like that. And it's only retrospectively when you're not in that situation anymore that you can actually realise how much of yourself you lose and how much of yourself you then can gain back. And that's kind of what it's kind of oh, I'm going to say the word empowerment. It is an empowerment. It is having that no, it is kind of the idea of empowering yourself to almost to be angry.
Yeah.
And to be, and that's kind of why I like to have the idea of kind of Lewis screaming away behind me, and that kind of, we all have that voice inside us which is like, I want to be angry about something, and I can't ever raise my voice in that situation because I'm trapped, but inside my head I've got the screamy voice just kind of shouting what's really going on in my head. That's what it's about.
Yeah, so that kind of ties into the idea of waking up from a lucid dream, isn't it? You slowly realise that you're in a dream, and you work your way through it and back into reality, kind of thing. And that ties in together with the theme of the song. That's
and the idea of a lucid dream being like, this is the way I thought my life would be.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I want, but it's intangible. I can't touch it because this person has taken all of that from me, and I just want it back. It's a lot more deep than it sounds, actually. But yeah, it was probably our one, because it was always a song that was going to be heavily with like the female clean vocals and a contrast in the chorus. I always wanted it to be that sort of slightly more emotional, something that might resonate with people, something that might be a bit more relatable, whereas the rest of our songs are kind of stories, and they're a little bit fun, and they're a little bit, they're journeys. Like, so Empress of the Night is it's like a story, and it's about a character, and Tempest is about characters. So yeah, this is a bit more personal, and definitely sung it's sung from first person as well, which not a lot of our songs are.